Finding the right career. Watch this video to find out smart ways to choose or change career paths and more satisfaction in your work. A must see, especially if you are reconsidering your career or trapped in a job you hate. Keep in mind, satisfaction at work undoubtedly translates into satisfaction and self-confidence in life, as workers tend to spend 1/3 or more of their weekdays in offices or outside in the case of telecommuting, a period during which they focus exclusively on their job. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. How you doing today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. Today I want to talk to you about finding the right career and how to make sure that you have meaningful work in your life. And this is important. Finding meaningful work is really important because we spend a lot of our time either at work, traveling to and from work, or thinking about work. So it inevitably plays a pivotal role in our lives. I was talking earlier about spending 1/3 or more of our weekdays thinking about work or working on our job. So if you feel bored or unsatisfied with how you spend large parts of the day, 1/3, it can take a serious toll on your physical and mental health. So you may feel burned out and frustrated, depressed, unable to enjoy time at home, burned out, frustrated, anxious. So you want to, it's really, the scenario here is pretty grim. So we need to change that, because having to concentrate for long periods of time on tasks you find mundane, repetitive, or unsatisfactory can cause high levels of stress. So how do you counter that? How do you stem the tide here? How do you change things from detrimental to positive? How do you gain satisfaction and meaning from your work? There are two ways to do this. Either you choose or change careers to something you love and are passionate about, and I will talk about that, or you find purpose and joy in the job that you don't love. Both are possible though. So whether you just live in school, finding opportunities limited in your current position, or like many in this economy facing unemployment, it may be time to reconsider your chosen career. So I'm going to show you here how you can research your options, how you can realize and identify your strengths, how you can acquire new skills, and most important, you need to marshal up the courage to make a change. Because once you do that, you'll be very excited and surprised that there is a new career path that is right for you and waiting for you. So even if you're trapped in a position you don't love, with no realistic opportunities for change, there are still ways to find more joy and satisfaction in how you earn a living. Let's dig a little deeper into that. So when changing careers is not really a realistic option. For many of us, career dreams are just dreams, right? Because if you think about it, it is very complicated, especially in a very uncertain economy, to navigate navigate life, to pay the bills, to put food on the table, to send kids to school, to do all of those things and still have time to find a job. So people are talking about, I'm working 9 to 5. No, you're working more than that. You're working maybe 9 to 8 or 9 to 7. My point here is that changing careers is not a realistic option for millions of Americans or people around the world. So we got to find another strategy here. What can you do to basically pass that episode? In other words, you cannot change. You have to stick to your job, and you have to find a way to make it work. How can you be happy? How can you avoid burnout? How can you find personal satisfaction, find inner joy while working at a job you inherently hate? I'm going to give you a few tips. Try to find some value in your role. Even if the job is mundane, you can often focus on how your position helps others, how you provide, how you add value to other people. Find balance in your life. If your job or career is not what you think or what you would want it to be, find meaning and satisfaction elsewhere. It can be interest, after work interest, hobbies, families, for example. Try to be grateful for having work that pays the bills and focus on the parts of your life that bring you joy. Having a vacation or fun weekend activities to look forward to can make a real difference in your working day. Volunteer. You can volunteer at work and outside of work. Make friends at work. So if you can cultivate strong ties in the workplace, this could reduce the monotony and avoid burnout because you have people that you look forward to seeing. So having friends to chat and joke with during the day can help relieve the stress of an unsatisfactory job. It can help improve your job performance or simply get you through a rough day. Another thing you can do is to consider, you can also think about how to switch things in your own life. Are there areas of your life where you can maybe change things a little bit? Should you network more? Because I was talking earlier about making friends at work, but you can also make friends outside. And when you volunteer outside of work, you have a great opportunity to actually meet other people. I want to talk to you also about discovering new possibilities. So if changing jobs is not really an option, you can actually try to find new possibilities in your current job or even elsewhere. So whether you are embarking, say, on your first career out of school or looking to make a career change, the first step is to think carefully about what really drives you, what makes you, what motivates you. You might find it hard to get past thinking what pays the most. It's not about paying. Money's not everything, or what is most secure. Especially in today's economy, I can understand people are thinking in terms of quantity, but you got to think also qualitatively. Quantitative thinking in terms of monetary compensation is pretty cool, but if you're not happy, if you feel crappy at work, chances are you will actually resign pretty quickly. So the truth is, most employees rank job satisfaction above salary in ensuring they feel happy at work. So this is kind of important because unless you are in a situation where you have to take the first available job to make ends meet, it is important to focus on your primary interest and passions, folks. You may be surprised at how you can fit your passions into a new career. So exploring your career opportunities here, I'm talking about focusing on the things you love to do. Be passionate about it. What have you dreamed of doing in the past when you were a child, when you were in high school, middle school? What do you naturally enjoy doing? You want to jot down what comes to mind, no matter how improbable it may seem to you at the moment. Look for clues everywhere. I'm telling you, you have to take notes of projects or topics that stir your compassion or excite your imagination. Don't have boundaries. Don't hold boundaries. You never know. You never know where the sparkle, where the gem, where the diamond will come from, where the eureka moment will come from. So you want to reflect on stories of people you admire, your role models, your mother, your father, your auntie, your uncle, your grandfather, your grandmother. Ask yourself why certain activities make you happy. And most important, you want to pay attention to times when you are generally enjoying yourself. And while you're doing the research, while you're exploring your career opportunities, please be patient. It's all about patience. It's all about pacing yourself. Remember that your search may take some time and you might have to go down a few different roads, have to be rejected at certain companies before finding the right career path. Time and introspection will help you identify the kinds of activities you most enjoy and that bring you true satisfaction. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. How you doing today? I hope you are still having a great moment with us, and I just want to have if you love the clarity and the content of this show, please consider subscribing to our channel, and we will be very happy to keep you in the loop. We release new shows every single day, and we'll be very happy to have you as a member of our community. Also, like this content, share, and comment below if you have questions or comments in general. And I was just talking to you about discovering new possibilities. We're talking today about finding the right career. And I want to talk to you now about overcoming obstacles to career fulfillment, because this is an important element that millions of Americans are talking about. It's always challenging to consider a huge change in your life. And there may be reasons why you think changing careers is not possible. But here, let me just have a conversation with you about the common obstacles with tips on how to overcome them. It's too much work to change careers. Where would I ever begin? Well, don't say that, because you do have the opportunity to change, and you can change. Changing careers does require a substantial time investment, that's true. But you have to think about the ROI, the return on investments. If the new career, if the new job is really appealing, you're gonna forget pretty quickly the time and effort you had put in preparing yourself for that job anyway. Some people say, I'm too old to change careers. I need to stay where I am. Not really. If you've worked for a number of years, you may feel that you've put too much time and effort into your career to change midstream. But the question is, are you happy? Are you going to be miserable and keep yourself miserable simply because you think you are too old to change? No. Another thing is, I don't have enough skills to consider a new career. That's so not true. You can get trainings nowadays. All you have to do is find a career that you like, and there are tons of free training and workshops and training materials out there on the internet. Some universities even have free courses. So there is always opportunity. There's always an opportunity to learn new things. You can even volunteer once a week or take a night class to move forward without quitting your current job. And some people are saying, in this economy, I'm lucky to have a job. I don't want to wreck the boat. That's true. But again, if you're static and you don't make a change, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, you are going to be more bitter. So there is a risk in considering changing careers, that's for sure. But if you're not happy in your current job, you need to make a move, actually. What if you have already lost your job? If you have already lost your job, that's perfect, quote unquote, perfect, in the sense that you can now focus for once on looking for that new career. Think of it as a new start. You have to look at the bright side. It gives you the chance to reflect on your career path. If you've been considering a new field, now is the time to research the options and see what might be the right fit for you. Who knows? You might actually end up in a much stronger position than if you had originally kept your job. So let me give you now a few tips about finding the right career. Tip number 1, identify occupations that match your interest. What are your passions? What are your passions? What are things that really make you happy? What are your interests? Write them down. So how do you translate your interest into a new career? With a little research, you may be surprised at the careers that relate to many of the things you love. Now there is something called career test. So different online tools can guide you through the process of self-discovery. So they use personality assessments, they use quizzes, they use questions, and but those metrics cannot tell you what your perfect career would be, but they can help you identify what's important to you in your career, what you enjoy doing, and where you excel. For example, frequently used by there is a metric actually that is frequently used by universities and the U.S. government. Is called the RIASEC Holland Interest Scale. RIA, RIASEC / Holland Interest Scales. It outlines this scale indicates 6 common personality types, such as investigative, social, or artistic, and it basically enables you to browse simple careers based on the type of personality you most identify with. You can also research specific careers. So if you have narrowed down some specific jobs or careers, you can find a wealth of information on the internet, from description of jobs to average salaries. There is a very wonderful platform called salary.com, and in there you also could go to monster.com, where you have an idea of the kind of salaries you can expect. Glassdoor.com is another good one too. So you can see the estimated future growth in the new career you are considering. This will help you figure out the practical priorities. How stable is the field you're considering? Are you comfortable with the amount of risk? Is the salary range acceptable to you? What about commute distances? Will you have to relocate for training or a new job? Will the new job affect your family? This and other questions are things you have to think about. Get support and information from others. So after doing a career test to identify what really matches your interest and researching specific careers, you want to get support and information from others. You can get a lot of info from research and quizzes. That's for sure. But you want to talk to someone in the field so you have a real sense of the type of work you will actually be doing and if it meets your expectations. Besides, you will start to build connections in your new career area, which will help you land a job in the future. So networking, this is really where networking is really key, and you want to pay attention to that. There are a lot of ways you can network, and we have covered that subject in other shows, so you might want to double check that. Just type professional networks in our database of videos. We have about 400 to 500 videos, and we've covered networking a lot. So you might want to avail yourself of that. I also want to give you, and this is tip number 2, evaluate your strengths and skills. So once you have a general idea of your career path, you want to take some time to do one thing, and only one, to figure out what skills you have and what skills you need. You're not completely starting from scratch. Don't have the idea that because you are switching from, say, engineering to painting, for instance, you have no skills. No, you already have some skills to start. These skills are called transferable skills, and they can be applied to almost any field. Some examples include management and leadership experience, communication, written and verbal, research and program planning, public speaking, conflict resolution and mediation, managing your time effectively, computer literacy, and foreign language fluency. So you have to figure out those among the list that I just gave you, what your transferable career skills are. So to discover your transferable career skills, you want to consider the following. Don't limit yourself just to your experiences at work. So when you're thinking about your skills, you want to consider all types of activities, including volunteering, hobbies, and life experiences. For example, even if you don't have formal leadership or program planning experience, founding a book club or organizing a toy drive, for instance, are ways that you have been putting the skills into practice. So again, don't try to box yourself into a cluster and say, no, I'm limited. No. You do have experience. You also want to list your accomplishments that might fit. So don't worry about formatting the skills for a resume at this point. All you want to do is cataloging your skills. You want to start thinking about the skills you have. You want to put them down. This can be, don't get me wrong, folks, this is not easy. This can be a tremendous confidence booster. But once you do it, it can be a tremendous confidence booster to realize all of the talents you've developed over so many years. You can also talk to other people, because sometimes you might forget, you might think you know yourself more, but no, you want to ask people what they think of you. You can brainstorm with trusted friends, colleagues, or mentors. So they may be able to identify transferable skills that you have overlooked or help you better articulate those skills in the future. The idea is to always get a second opinion about yourself, second opinion about where you want to go, second opinion about things that are important to you. So that's very important. So transferable skills is a great element in your search for a new job. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Key. We're also having a conversation here around finding the right career, and I want to tell you now how to develop your skills and experience. If you're switching careers and you have a skill gap, in other words, there are some competencies and capabilities that you currently don't have and need to have. You need to have a plan to develop those. So if your chosen career requires skills or experience you lack, don't despair. There are myriad ways to gain necessary skills. So while learning, you also have an opportunity to find out whether or not you truly enjoy your chosen career and also make connections. And those connections, as we all know, they could lead to your dream job. How can you gain new career skills? There are 4 ways to do this. 4 major ways. You can utilize your current position. So you can look for on-the-job training or opportunities to work on projects that develop new skills. So you can see, just speak to your manager, speaking to your boss, and see if your current employer will pay part of your tuition cost. If not, pay the tuition yourself. It's an investment in your future. It's an investment in your career. That's number one. Number two, identify resources in the community. Sometimes you have programs in your community that you might even ignore. So community colleges or libraries often offer low cost opportunities to strengthen skills such as computing, basic accounting, or business development. And so do local chambers of commerce, small business administrations, or state job development programs. Third thing you can do, take classes. Remember, there are some fields where you have to have technical knowledge and they require specific education or skills, right? You can get a degree and you can get an additional degree or specific training. Don't automatically rule out more education as impossible. Many fields have accelerated programs if you already have some education, and you may be able to take night classes also if you want to, or complete part-time schooling that you can continue to work. Some companies even offer tuition reimbursement. So if you're lucky, your employer will reimburse you. And that's if you stay at the company after you finish your education. So they will have a clause whereby they tell you, listen, after you finish your education, you have to stay 2, 3, 4 years at the company. And that makes sense because it is an investment for them, and they need to make sure that they can recoup their investment in you. You can also develop your skills and experience by volunteering or working as an intern. Some career skills can be acquired by volunteering or completing an internship. So this has the added benefits of getting you in contact with people in your chosen field. I also want to talk about the fact that, and this is tip number 4, consider starting your own business. So I know this sounds a little bizarre, but if you're getting worn down by a long commute or a difficult boss, the thought of working for yourself can be very appealing. And even in a slower economy, it's still possible to find your perfect niche. So it really depends on your motivation, your aspiration, and also your dedication. So depending on the specialty, some companies prefer to streamline their ranks and work with outside vendors. However, it is especially important to do your homework and understand the realities of business ownership before you ultimately jump in. So what am I saying here? You want to make sure you are committed to and passionate about your business idea. You make sure that you do proper research. It is critical. Expect limited or no earnings to start with. Especially in the first few months, you are building your base and may have startup costs that offset any initial profits. So make sure you have a plan on how to cope during this period. And the last tip here is you need to manage your career transition. So pace yourself, folks. This is important. This is a marathon. This is not a sprint. Don't take on too much at once. Career change doesn't happen overnight, and it is easy to get overwhelmed with all the steps to successfully make the transition. However, you'll get there with commitment and motivation. All you want to do here is to break down the large goals into smaller ones and try to accomplish at least one small thing at a time. And make sure that you also take things slowly. Ease slowly into your new career. So you want to take the time to start slowly. You can start working part-time in your field before committing fully. Take the time to volunteer, to ask people around, to network, to see how the game is played before you start playing. Because it will not only make for an easier transition if you're able to interact with people at a temporary level before getting to the full-time position. It will help you. It will help you get an easier transition, but you also have time to ensure that you are on the right path and make necessary changes before working full-time in your new field. The last thing you need to do is to take care of yourself. How do you manage your career transition? Please take care of yourself. You might be feeling so busy with the career transition that you barely have time to sleep or eat. However, and research has abundantly shown this, managing stress, eating right, And taking time for sleep, exercise, and loved ones will ensure that you have the stamina for the big changes ahead. Thank you so much for today's conversation. I really appreciate it. Let me quickly give you a recap here. So we had a lot of conversation. We had a short conversation around how to find the right career, how to start a new career, whether you should stay at your current job or switch jobs altogether. I hope I was able to add value to your life. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.